Hey guys, if you're listening to this on our YouTube channel or our SoundCloud account, I want to let you know that this is actually about a week late. We actually recorded this the previous Sunday and we released it today because we wanted to wait until it was public on the Crunchyroll, Rooster Teeth, and YouTube pages for the official sources. And also because we want to post this up a week early for our Patreon users. So if you want to check out our RWBY reviews the day after the episode actually drops for first members or premium Verve holders, then come check them out on our Patreon. Become a patron. Fairy Tale Podcast on Patreon, or just simply patreon.com/fairytalepodcast. On with the review. Hi guys, welcome to Fairy Tale Podcast. I'm Richie. I'm here with Walker.
Hey.
And we're going to talk about RWBY. Now, guys, if you're hearing this, you're probably hearing it a week after it came out on Rooster Teeth. And as we discovered, if you have a premium account on Verve, you can also watch it. So that was really cool. I did a riff reaction to it, which is really cool. We're putting this up on Patreon first, and then a week later, as soon as the episode, probably again on Sunday, giving people a day to check it out on, like, you know, Crunchyroll or YouTube or wherever it is you watch it, giving them basically a day to check it out and then putting our review up. But basically, we're just going to talk about it and say what we really liked. And I just want to start off with, oh my god, there's actual anime stills in RWBY now.
Yeah, I liked that. It was really nice. I was like, oh, look at this detailed artwork on swords and cantaloupe.
Yeah, it was really funny because it was like, you could tell that somebody spent a lot of time putting those cells together, and then it's just a pan on them, and I'm like, I've done that work in video editing before. I've done that work in Movie Maker, which is kind of sad. But at the same time, I was very surprised to see that they actually incorporated, like, cell animation into it, and that kind of threw me.
I also like how it meshed well with the actual animation improvements they made to
right?
Season 5. Or Volume 5. My mistake.
Same difference. But another thing that I really liked was getting to see more of Mistral and Vale specifically. No, Haven. Why am I saying Vale? Haven specifically, Haven Academy. God, that place is gorgeous.
Super dope Japanese courtyard.
Right? And then we finally got to seriously get to hear Leon Lionheart's voice. Leonardo Lionheart. Yeah, Leon. I'm going over just aesthetics first before we get into, like, things that I was, like, surprised about or things that I was like, really? I kind of wish that this is what was going on because that's what you alluded to at the end of the previous season. But,
Oh, I know what you're talking about. I'm going to be really satisfied when we get to that moment.
There's more. There's, like, 3 of them that I'm kind of disappointed in this first episode about. Well, 4 if you count not getting to see my goddess. Yeah. Any episode without Salem bums me out. The locations and how they tied certain things from the end of Volume 4 into, you know, this episode were really good. And props to Vic on his portrayal of Crow this time around, because you got to see, like, full-on Drunkle Vic, or Drunkle Crow. And that was even better than I thought it would be. And RWBY reads comics was another wonderful thing that we discovered. I love the fact that RWBY reads comics. What are some of the things that you saw in this that you were like, oh, that's kind of cool? And wanted to talk about?
I guess aesthetically, what I liked was I liked the style of the style of the shading. Like, they've worked with that before in the past. And during Volume 1 and 2, it was a little rocky. Like, it would just be, they'd take a scene and kind of orange tint it up, and then maybe add a few little bright areas here and there. But this time, it was very dynamic. Like, it was good in Volume 4, but this time was, like, insane. Like, I'm specifically referencing the scene with Weiss and the pilot where they're going over the lake and it's just sunset. That takes a shitload of work, and that was impressive.
The color dynamic for this episode alone.
Oh my god.
Insane. Like, you had so many different colors going around as you're going back and forth to different places was really cool. All right.
Also, Blake's bodyguard, I enjoyed that. That was just a very nice exchange. I looked at them and I'm like, this looks like a character I'd see in Fire Emblem. Okay.
Let's also break a couple of things apart as well. I love that, as you so lovingly have put him, Big Daddy B.
Big Daddy B.
Big Daddy B. And Sun completely agreed. I love that they both burst in, were saying practically the same things to each other. That was a very cute moment, and especially Big Mama B going, well, now you've at least found something that you two can agree on. I was like, that was a nice moment. That was really a nice moment.
I think it would have been made a lot better if, similarly to how they ended Volume 4 when Sun, made his big speech to Blake about why she should rely on her friends, her dad was still like, I still don't like you. I think that would have been a lot funnier if at the very end of their conversation when Sun was, really nervously chuckling, he just, instead of just growling, he just looked at me, he's like, I still don't like you.
All right, so let's get to breaking things down and nitpicking about it as well. You want to start it, or you want me to?
Oh yeah, I want to start with my favorite one that kind of came at the end of the episode, because this was a big discussion you and I actually had at the end of Volume 4, that went on for about 15 minutes, and that was whether or not Yang went after Ruby or Raven, and I was so happy to be proven right. Thank you, Volume 5.
I was so disappointed about that. I was like, no, she's totally going for Ruby, because she said, when I see you, you're going to be in big trouble. I was like, I figured she was talking to Ruby, because I was like, there's no way she's talking about her mom like that. Oh my God, she actually was. I'm a little upset that, characters didn't get to meet up and that Blake and them haven't left Menagerie yet. And I'm just like, as much as I loved it, loved meeting Blake's family, I kind of wanted Menagerie to be done and the fact that they're still there. But I loved getting to see Ilya again and getting a little more discussion between her and Blake. And kind of understanding that Ilya is taking the fall for everything.
Yeah, her backstory in the in Blake's character short, her little voiceover backstory. Oh my God, I'm starting to understand why in Volume 1, Sun was like, "Weren't you part of a cult at some point?" Oh my God, it is really starting to feel like that.
Yeah,
it is. Oh,
the other thing that really bothered me when going back to Yang, after all that talk and that fighting with her dad about, don't use her semblance, she's going red-eyed a lot quicker than I thought she would be. I figured it was time for her to calm down a bit now that she'd gone down with, but it looks like Yang hasn't really made that much progress. And I was like, well, I mean,
she's made a little, because you saw, when she was going for the water, her hand was shaking and she, calmed herself down. She's gotten better at restraint afterwards, but the fact of the matter is she can still be pushed over the edge, and that's...
I understand that it's baby steps and things like that, but at the same time it's you've had months to come to grips with this, and the journey, however long it took for the journey for you to get to where you are now. I don't care if you're on a motorcycle instead of walking, but it's still quite a bit of travel time. You had to go by boat, and then you had to drive around, so it's not like it was a short little quick brisk walk right there. She's had time to kind of come to terms with some of that, of her anger issues, and I'm just like, I didn't really see the progress that I wanted to see, and that kind of bothered me.
Well, as I'm going to point out, because I hate to do this again, but when we were talking about Voltron Season 3, I was bitching about Keith, and how I'm like, how is it that now that he's still the leader, he still doesn't trust anybody, he's still rushing headlong, and you're like, well, Walker, a character can make development, but snapping out of habits is really hard to do. And I'm like, oh. And then you got mad at me because you're like, it's making the characters more human. I don't know how you see that. And I'm like, I'm sorry.
My own words thrown back at me. Touche. I felt bad that Weiss wasn't able to help those people. And you could tell that she wanted to, but she didn't argue against the guy. And I was going to say something until the guy said, my ship, my rules. And I was like, yeah, you really can't argue with that. They covered that. Never mind. I'm really looking forward to how much Weiss is going to change based on this.
I feel like she already has. In the past,
she's changed a lot, but now it's she's had to deal with a lot of darkness, but that's mostly been centered around her family. Now she's seeing the darkness of just the world itself.
Yeah, I don't know.
And I mean, she's facing it more directly.
Yeah.
In this, ignoring people in trouble is really a dark.
And it's what she used to do.
Yeah, it's very much what she used to do.
And now she's not. So I'm like, 180 character development. I'm set with this. I'm okay with this. Weiss is a likable character now.
Post Volume 4, Weiss is so much more interesting now than Volume 1 Weiss. Volume 1 Weiss, I just wanted to smack her.
I'm glad it took 4 seasons for us to get here.
Yeah.
It was actually worth the wait.
I love the introduction of Leo. Like, I really loved his introduction of just opening the door, screaming out loud, and then falling over. I was like, he is the Cowardly Lion! I was like, yep, that was perfect. But, God, the fact that Watts was in there listening the whole time, and that really pissed me off. We got some really good exposition and detail this time around, though. We got a lot of information, and I love the fact that you've got Team Ranger and Crow all hanging out together, and now we've brought in Oscar. And that's just, can't wait for episode 2, just because of how 1 ended. It was so good.
One of the things I'd like to nitpick a bit about the actual
Go for it.
episode, my big issue with everything is that, like, and I'll take a backseat on this, because again, the characters are more human than I would like. But Jean is still, like, he's made strides as a lieutenant now that he's not a leader, but he's still, I get carrying grief, but carrying hate is, that shit's gonna burn you up, boy, and you need to not be getting all pissy when people are like, hey, we can't be doing this, we can't be going after Cinder, and he's just like, ugh! Like, don't be edgy.
I actually see that as much more character improvement on his side. He's become a much more serious person, even if it is because he's consumed by need for revenge or whatnot. But I like that he's developed into a much more serious character. And
don't be a reverse Zuko.
I'm really looking forward to is a time where he gets to fight in a way that makes him really stand out and shine. The fight that they had last volume was more specifically about Ren, and I need to get I need to get that moment where Jean really steps out on his own and shows what he's worth.
I mean, he kind of did that with Tyrion. I mean, he's the only one that didn't go down.
Yeah, but at the same time, Tyrion was playing with his food. That's essentially what was happening there.
Well, he is an arachnid.
I mean, until Crow showed up, it was Tyrion just playing with them. He wasn't serious about it at all.
Speaking
of, he could have taken Jean. He could have taken Jean as soon as he hopped on that shield and was like, "Ooh." Speaking of, yes, we need more Tyrion.
Sorry.
We need
more Tyrion. But also speaking of, I liked the scene like you were mentioning with Drunken Crow because it reminded me very much of the first episode of Rick and Morty. He just bursts through the door. It's like, Morty, we gotta go. We gotta get out of here.
Look what I found.
I found him.
I love how happy he was. He got super drunk right after meeting Oscar. I love that, everything was so serious and tense. He's like, is there a Ruby Rose here? Why? And then Crow bursts in, I found him! And I'm just like, that's the perfect excuse. You don't even have to explain that you're a husband. He's just being like, I found this drunken idiot. He told me to go here and ask for Ruby. And I love the fact that you get the sense that this is a thing that happens kind of often, that Ruby is used to dealing with Drunken Crow.
Call back to Rick and Morty Season 3, Vindicators 3, The Return of Worldender.
Why are we constantly referencing Rick and Morty? And
because I'm sorry, it just feels like that. Because you're constantly having to deal with it, and I'm like, oh, so Morty in that episode, he's just like, every time! But no, it was amusing to see, this side of Ruby, because we normally just see this goofy child who's just aspiring to what her mother was. And the fact that we get to see Mom Ruby.
We finally get to see Mama Ruby, more or less. She's like, Crow comes in all drunk, and suddenly she's the disappointed mom.
How drunk did you get? Not as drunk as I could have been.
I wonder how empty that bar is. That's the real question.
That's actually one of the lines I wrote for the... I literally started writing the script for that episode of Volume 5 in Ruby Abridged. I'm just like, I gotta do it. It's fresh in my mind.
Yeah, is there anything else that really stood out to you that you wanted to talk about?
I guess I liked the one thing I will like, and this is like a double thumbs up, all the way, bonus, fucking the best, was the fact that while they're walking through the hallway, Rin and Nora are having a kind of side moment, and I'm like, it's canon. Like, she's giggling and Rin's smiling, and I'm like, oh, my heart, I can't take this.
See, he's thinking that, and immediately I'm thinking that's a death flag. That's a death flag. I'm like, they're gonna die this season because no one's allowed to be happy in RWBY. You know,
For too long.
For too long. Getting to like the crucial stuff that I kind of wanted to geek out about a little bit.
Yep.
Oh my god, the explanation of the maidens and the artifacts. And just Crow going, I filled them in, and the look of worry on Leo's face. Who's like, wait, what? He's like, what do you mean you filled them in? I was like, I filled them in. I thought you said you filled them in. Not as much as I should have. I quit teaching for a reason. You got so much good personality from just exposition about Crow. Like, we got to learn a lot more about Crow. We got to learn more about the conditions.
That family, though.
That whole discussion in Leo's office made this episode because there was so much information that we were getting, and it was all important and plot relevant, even though I was kind of going, where's Oscar the whole time. But I like how they kind of tied Oscar in, that he shows up right after this. That was a really well done tie-in.
I also like the opening that we got at the very end, because
it
gave
was
us
really good.
A lot
of
of
rocking.
It was good music, good scenery, but also it gives us a lot of insight. For example, all the maidens like we've seen so far, like in the backstory ish thing, kind of had like long hair or like hair that was cut like shoulder length. So seeing the Spring Maiden with like this kind of chopped short hairstyle that reminds me of Jack from Mass Effect 3, I'm like, yes! Please let her be. Please let it be. Let it be. Let her just be like this complete badass bitch.
I will destroy you. Calm down, Rodriguez. You couldn't destroy wet tissue paper. But no, oh man, we got so much good exposition and explanation about the Spring Maiden, and now Watts knows that information, so that has me worried. Ah!
Also, Hazel, in the trailer scene, we see that Hazel is hanging out with Adam, and I'm like, ooh,
that's not good. Yeah.
Is he a funness?
Plus, we're gonna have all this stuff going down with Adam just from the trailer that we got earlier. Yeah. So we know that Adam is going to be a lot more involved, and I'm like, in what capacity? And is stuff gonna go down in Volume 5 like stuff went down in Volume 3 with Haven and Minstrel? Like, because they've already said that that's the next step. Like, they're gonna be working on that, and I'm just like, ooh. And as much as Cinder has a grudge against RWBY, Cinder needs to not show up. Otherwise, Jean is like, she's not even gonna get a chance to go up against RWBY, because I feel like Jean's gonna step in and just outright surprise the crap out of everybody.
It will be like the RWBY meme where they take Jean's name and it becomes John Cena. He will straight up like pick her up and break her spine. Like, he would lay the smack down. The king of the ring.
Anything else that we wanted to geek out about? Raven looks like she's gonna meet Yang again. I did love that gas station scene. It was very cute.
I liked the very cheesy knocking his one tooth out, and then the little like anime grin with the one tooth missing. That was amusing.
Also, so was the pinball aspect of him getting knocked all over the place.
Yeah. Also, the little bottle drinking thing where she just holds up one hand. She's like, wait.
Yang is, whether she intends to be or not, is very much the comedy relief this episode. It was beautiful. Aside from that, though, the others, like, they're going through some serious shit, but it just felt more depressing than, because RWBY and them are going through a lot of serious stuff, but it's nowhere near like as it doesn't feel like it's bringing me down. But
oh no, the Capitol's burning.
When it comes to Weiss and when it comes to Blake's stories, I feel like they're important, but at the same time, it's like, you're bringing me down a little too much. Stop bumming me out.
We need next episode. We need more Weiss and Blake, and it needs to be positive. We need some more Blake on Sun, because Cinnamon Bun is bae, and we need Weiss to get off that plane with the really depressing pilot.
I really just want Weiss to get into the thick of it, and at the very least, because the way it's looking right now, Weiss is going to be the first one to meet up with RWBY.
Yeah, that I don't doubt that. They're super besties better than the resties.
Also, how's Jean gonna react to that? How is Weiss gonna react to Jean now that he's very different? Like,
Now that
I
he's
want
the
to know how that.
man.
Well, no, I mean how the dynamics of their personalities have changed over time as they've grown and evolved as characters. I'm wondering what that dynamic is going to be, not necessarily on a relationship level, but just as you on a friendship level, like just Jean's very different than how he used to be, and so is Weiss. So I'm curious how that'll play out.
I feel like Jean will just kind of. It'll be a reverse. Jean will be dismissive of her, and she'll be like really nice to him. She'll be like, "Thanks for what you did at the dance with Neptune." He'll be like, "Oh yeah, sure, no problem. That's great.
Yeah.
Good for you."
All right. Any other stuff that we want to see in episode 2, like forward speculation? Let's do speculating. It's time for speculation.
Well, obviously, Yang's probably not going to find Raven next episode. As much as we want that to be like a thing, it'll probably be like they get to this place and the guy either betrays her or he actually helps her, but like they get ambushed by the bandits instead of getting to actually meet them. I feel like I don't know what's going to happen with Oscar. I hope that like Crow teaches him how to fight.
What about this? What about this? When Ruby and the rest go to get the Spring Maiden from the bandits, what if Yang is fighting with the bandits against them? I like that idea.
I would like that. That would be interesting.
That'd be a really cool twist. Are we predicting stuff with Rooster Teeth? Probably not, but it'd be really cool if we did.
I mean,
this is just wishes, and we don't know how it's gonna happen. But yeah, we're just wishing for things. My big thing for episode 2, I want to see more Salem. I want to see more Oscar. Done. That's how it goes.
As I said before, Oscar needs to learn how to fight from Crow. It needs to be amusing and awesome. Like, I need to see a lot of Oscar hitting the floor and Crow being like, again.
This was kind of why I'm a little disappointed that Yang is heading to Raven. I really wanted to see Oscar get trained by Yang.
That'll be great.
That would be amazing.
Crow would be like Mr. Miyagi up in this thing. He'd be like, fill the glass. What is this supposed to teach me? It's supposed to teach you to fill the glass!
I like the idea that Oscar should learn to fight and should train and learn to fight from his body standpoint, but he's still got all of Osbin's memories and his knowledge and his magical abilities. So honestly, just having Osbin there in his head already makes him a pretty formidable person. Just with that amount of knowledge. And Osbin, because Oscar has direct access to his memories, he'll know how to do certain things already. Or hopefully he will be able to tap into those. I'm not going to sit here and say that because he is Osbin, he's already God level tier. I don't want that to be the case, but I don't want him to be completely beatable either. I don't want him to start off as a level 1 character. Best way I could describe it. Like,
he needs to be Keanu Reeves.
No, he needs to be at least level 10 starting out. Like, I'd prefer him starting out, he's level 10, but he has a ways to go still, He's not even halfway there. We're capping the level at 40. He's got about a quarter of what he needs. So he's still got to learn that other 3/4. So there's still a lot to learn, but at least he didn't start off with nothing, Yeah. That's where I'm hoping this is. But I could be wrong. But yes, I agree. What we need is an epic Oscar training montage.
Definitely get some Well, I mean, he can also learn hand to hand from Ren.
Yeah. There's a lot
that
of
would
really
be a lot
fighters.
funnier.
Oh my god, can you imagine? Wait. All right, because he technically is also Osbin, how cool would it be to have Osbin training Jean?
Oh my god.
Yeah! Like, giving Jean some extra knowledge from Osbin, that'd be cool! Also, it was
you should tighten up your back leg.
It was a cute touch that the first thing that Oscar said to Ruby was, "You have silver eyes."
Yeah.
That was a very cute touch.
I ship it.
I see what you did there, Rooster Teeth. Well done.
I ship it.
All right, I can't be the only one. When I saw the two of them talking and looking at each other, I was like, please let those two have beautiful babies.
Please let it be canon.
Please let it be canon. I really ship Oscar Ruby right now, just because, based on cuteness alone.
I ship it.
I ship it. That having been said, I think this is a good time to just wrap it up. We didn't get into a lot of detail, but there are other series that do that. We're just kind of chatting about what we liked about the episode. And as always, guys, thank you so much for coming by. If you're hearing this later and you want to hear these reviews a bit earlier from us, make sure to go to our Patreon, which is, of course, patreon.com/fairytalepodcast. There'll be an intro at the beginning for that, but we want to do it once more for the outro. We'll have more people on as time goes on and we're able to schedule these things up. That having been said, I am Richie. I'm here with... Oh, yeah, go ahead.
Oh, I was going to just say, I am Walker, but you were introducing me and I feel like an asshole now.
No, you don't have to feel like an asshole. You're good. And that is it for us. We hope that you've enjoyed this episode of our RWBY review. Look forward to episode 2. I did not mean to make that rhyme.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bye now.
All right. Bye.